Abyssal Love, the Prince's Vow. A prince of the land and a prince of the sea set sail on a journey where hearts lead the way. Bound by a vow deeper than the tides, their love becomes the light that guides them through every storm. Chapter 11. Tides of Dream and Destiny. Beneath the endless tides of dream and waking, two souls drifted toward a destiny written in the stars and sung by the sea. The night had not yet fully receded, but the first threads of dawn had already begun to tear through the horizon, painting the sky in a gentle gradient of soft pink, molten gold, and deep blue. A tender breeze swept over the ocean, carrying with it the faint, salt-kissed scent of the sea. The waves lapped against the ship's hull in a rhythmic low chant, a lullaby spun by the world itself. Adrian stirred in time with the ship's soothing sway and soon realized he was enfolded in a warm embrace. Lucian's arms wrapped securely around his waist, his breathing slow and even. The comforting heat of his body seeped through the thin fabric between them, making it difficult for Adrian to pull away. He tilted his head slightly, his gaze falling upon Lucian's sleeping face. White strands of hair tumbled messily across his forehead, his long lashes trembling faintly, reminiscent of ripples over a still morning sea. His features, bathed in the soft light of early dawn, seemed almost too serene to belong to the waking world. Adrian couldn't resist. His fingers reached out, brushing lightly against Lucian's cheek, cool and smooth like polished pearl. He murmured under his breath, "You look just like the morning light on the sea when you're this quiet." As if answering his voice, Lucian's lashes fluttered open, revealing crystal-clear blue eyes. Within them shimmered the newborn gold of dawn, and Adrian's reflection. A faint smile curved Lucian's lips as he replied in a quiet, tender voice, "And you are my first light of day." A shiver of warmth raced through Adrian's chest, deepening his smile. Slowly he leaned forward, pressing a soft, reverent kiss onto Lucian's lips. Above them, seagulls cried out as they circled overhead. The ship's deck swayed in a gentle dance with the sea, and the sails billowed, catching the morning breeze thick with the ocean's breath. Lucian's arms curled around Adrian's neck, his lips brushing a secret smile against Adrian's own. "How do you like the feeling of sailing?" he asked, his voice a low murmur. Adrian sighed contentedly, resting his forehead against Lucian's. "Even better than I imagined." The morning light grew steadily, dissolving the final remnants of night. Their ship carved a slow, steady path across the ocean, sailing ever closer to the unknown. At the bow, Adrian stood with hands gripping the helm, his expression thoughtful as his gaze swept across the endless blue. "The sea seems calmer than usual today," he observed. Lucian joined him, the wind threading silver through his hair, a knowing smile playing upon his lips. Perhaps the ocean is preparing a surprise. Even as the words left him, the surface of the water began to ripple, strange, mesmerizing patterns that whispered of hidden wonders. Then, without warning, streaks of silver burst from the deep, shoals of flying fish leaping into the air. Their slender bodies shimmered beneath the rising sun, each fin spread wide like gossamer wings. They danced in the air, soaring in intricate patterns, blooming into sea flowers, twisting into swirling nebulas. At the crescendo of their display, they converged mid-air in a flash of rainbow light before vanishing into the endless sky. Adrian watched, spellbound. His hand lifted instinctively as if trying to seize that fleeting miracle. "Is this real?" he whispered. Lucian's gaze softened, shimmering with an almost otherworldly warmth. "Some miracles," he said, "can only be witnessed at sea." As the CT's final silver ripples faded, the ship's sails caught the wind anew, carrying them onward toward realms yet unseen. By afternoon, golden sunlight bathed the deck, turning every drop of water into liquid fire. The salty air played with their hair, weaving it into wild strands scented faintly of the sea. Adrian lounged against the ship's railing, lazily biting into a piece of fresh coconut, savoring its sweetness. His gaze drifted to where Lucian knelt by a crackling fire near the stern, expertly turning grilled fish over the flames. Wisps of smoke curled skyward, carrying the mouth-watering aroma of salt and flame. Lucian's large, silver-blue tail rested idly in the water, swaying with slow, effortless grace, sending ripples. Across the glassy surface, his scales caught the sunlight, gleaming like the starlit sea itself. A mischievous thought crept into Adrian's mind. "You're always soaking in water," he teased, a sly grin curving his lips. "Won't you get all bloated?" Lucian's hands paused mid-turn, his blue eyes flashing with amused mischief. Wordlessly, he handed Adrian the grilled fish, and then, with a fluid motion, slipped into the sea. Alarm prickled down Adrian's spine. He narrowed his eyes suspiciously. "What are you planning?" For a moment, only the surface swirled gently where Lucian had vanished. Then, with mischievous precision, a jet of water shot up, splashing squarely onto Adrian's face. "Hey!" Adrian sputtered, dropping the coconut and fish onto the deck with a clatter. Wiping water from his dripping hair, he glared at the rippling surface. "Are you serious?" Lucian's head broke the surface, a wicked grin curving his lips. "Among my kind," he said solemnly, "we don't argue. We just spray water." Adrian stared, utterly dumbfounded. "In what kind of ridiculous merfolk tradition is that?" Lucian merely shrugged, the picture of innocence, though his blue eyes glittered with laughter. Adrian squinted, then launched himself into the water with a determined splash. Waves crashed outward as he lunged for Lucian, his expression dangerously playful. "Then I'll just have to use my strongest technique to calm you down." Lucian darted back, but too late. Adrian caught him in his arms, and before another word could be said, pressed a deep, laughing kiss to his lips. Around them the sea rocked gently, and above, the sky gleamed, vast and boundless. The ocean breeze, once playful, now sang a softer melody, the wordless song of an ocean's love. Night soon draped its velvet cloak across the sky. Stars spilled like spilled silver across the heavens, their reflections dancing in the calm water. The sails whispered overhead, and the ship rocked like a cradle in the slow embrace of the sea. Wrapped in a shared woolen blanket, Adrian and Lucian lay side by side on the deck, the fatigue of the day pulling them into a soft, dreamlike stillness. Their breaths mingled in the cool air, and for a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Then, a glow emerged from the waters nearby. Lone jellyfish, its body translucent, ethereal, and luminous. It drifted closer, tendrils swaying in the current, until it brushed lightly against their foreheads. In that instant, the world around them dissolved. They were no longer lying on the deck but floating in an endless ocean, a place beyond storms, beyond borders, bathed in radiant light. The water around them shimmered like the sky itself, each ripple whispering ancient songs. Adrian felt weightless, his body moving with the effortless grace of a fish. Lucian gilded beside him, his silver-blue tail flicking luminous trails through the water. Freedom swelled in Adrian's chest, unlike anything he had ever known. Laughter spilled from their lips, twining with the currents. Around them, mythical creatures gathered. Sea butterflies with translucent wings brushed past their fingertips, while tiny fairy fish circled them in living orbits of starlight. A pod of dream whales, crowned with coral antlers, sang deep, resonant songs that stirred the very soul. They swam through floating forests of coral, brilliant as gemstones, and were guided by mischievous sea sprites who tugged at their hands and hair, urging them deeper into a secret sanctuary. Through a field of luminous jellyfish they drifted, thousands of glowing orbs transforming the sea into a celestial wonder. Lucian reached out, and a single jellyfish floated into his palm, pulsing warm, golden light into the depths. At last they arrived at a palace suspended beneath the waves, a crystalline wonder, flowing and transparent, filled with drifting pearls that resembled rivers of stars. Beings of light and water moved within, extending hands in invitation, drawing the two princes into a dance older than time. Adrian and Lucian surrendered themselves to the dream, losing all sense of time and self. their souls spinning through a cosmos of light and sea. When they finally broke the surface once more, the stars still burned above them, but something inside them had changed, deepened, blossomed. Adrian gazed at the dream-washed ocean around them, awe softening his features. Lucian drifted closer, the midnight blue of his eyes holding a reflection of all the stars. No words were needed. Adrian reached out, and Lucian's hand met his, fingers intertwining with quiet certainty. The waves cradled them. In the hush between heartbeats, Adrian leaned in, and their lips met, sealing their dream with a kiss spun from starlight and sea. The ocean glowed around them, a blessing from the universe itself. The lingering warmth of the dream had not yet faded when Adrian and Lucian slowly opened their eyes. Moonlight traced silver paths across their faces, and the night breeze whispered between them, carrying the faintest echo of the dream. Their gazes met, quiet, knowing no words were needed. Only the soft weaving of their breaths in the night air, the steady beating of their hearts. Adrian leaned closer, the world narrowing until there was only Lucian. His voice broke the silence, low and reverent. "What did you dream of?" Lucian's smile was tender, his gaze deep and bright as the ocean's heart. "The same as you," he answered softly. They smiled, a smile that held the weight of stardust and destiny. Above them, the moon and stars looked on, silent witnesses to the new journey that had already begun.